This isn't about fear-mongering, it's about empowerment. It's about giving you back a measure of control that you might feel is slipping away as the years go by. Prostate issues, they're so common, aren't they? Almost a grim expectation for men as they age. The frequent urination, the disrupted sleep, the anxiety about what might be developing. We're told it's just part of getting older, a sort of inevitable decline. And yes, aging plays a role, genetics play a role, but there's a massive overlooked factor here, a habit so ingrained in modern life that we barely even register it as a habit anymore. It's a silent saboteur, working away beneath the surface. And for too long, I, like many of my colleagues, focused on the symptoms, on managing the discomfort without fully grasping the profound simplicity of one of its primary drivers. I've sat with countless men, heard their stories, felt their frustration, their quiet desperation, and it pushed me to look beyond the textbooks, beyond the standard protocols, because the answers we were giving, they weren't enough. They weren't addressing the deepest root. Doctor's confession. I need to be honest with you. For years, I followed the established paths. I recommended the usual interventions, prescribed the standard medications, and offered the lifestyle advice that we're all taught. And it helped to a degree. It managed things. But managing isn't thriving, is it? It's not living with full vitality. There was always this nagging feeling, this quiet voice in the back of my mind, that we were missing something fundamental. I saw men who did everything right. They ate relatively well. They weren't overweight. They even exercised. And yet, the problems persisted, sometimes worsened. It felt like we were constantly playing catch-up, fighting a battle against an unseen enemy. And the emotional toll this takes, it's immense. It's the loss of freedom, the constant awareness of your body in a negative way, the shadow it casts over your daily life, your relationships, your sense of self. It's the feeling of your own body betraying you. And as a doctor, your deepest desire is to alleviate that suffering, to restore hope. But when your tools feel limited, when you see the same patterns repeating, it forces you to question everything. It forced me, at least, onto a path of deeper inquiry, a search for a more holistic understanding. Because the human body isn't just a collection of mechanical parts, it's an intricate, interconnected system, deeply influenced by our environment, our thoughts, our emotions, and yes, our daily habits in ways far more profound than we often acknowledge in Western medicine. Systemic blind spot. Why isn't this common knowledge? Why don't more doctors emphasize this one specific habit with the urgency it deserves? Well, the reasons are complex. Our medical system, for all its incredible advancements, is often geared towards treating acute illness rather than cultivating deep preventative wellness. It's a system that often looks for a magic bullet, a pill, or a procedure to fix a problem once it's already established. And sometimes, the most powerful truths are hidden in plain sight, dismissed as too simple or too alternative. There's also the sheer volume of information, the conflicting studies, the influence of industries. But perhaps the biggest reason is that this habit is so deeply woven into the fabric of our modern existence that it's almost invisible. It's like the air we breathe. We don't notice it until it's compromised. Furthermore, it's not a habit that can be easily fixed with a prescription. It requires awareness, a conscious shift, and a willingness to look at how we truly live our lives, moment to moment. It's easier to talk about diet and exercise in general terms than to pinpoint a specific, deeply ingrained behavioral pattern that has profound physiological consequences, especially one that might make people uncomfortable because it challenges the very way our society is structured. But the truth doesn't care about convenience, and the consequences of ignoring it are too severe. I realized that to truly help, I had to step outside the conventional box, to integrate wisdom from sources that weren't typically found in medical journals. Eastern Revelation. My journey for answers led me to some unexpected places, far from the sterile corridors of hospitals and research labs. I began exploring ancient healing traditions, philosophies that have viewed the body and mind as an inseparable whole for millennia. And that's when I encountered the teachings attributed to Shi Heng Yi. Now, this isn't about abandoning science, it's about augmenting it, enriching it with a different kind of knowing. Shi Heng Yi wisdom, as I came to understand it, speaks profoundly about the flow of vital energy in the body. Call it chi, call it prana, call it life force. It emphasizes that health is a state of balance and unimpeded flow, while disease arises from stagnation, from blockages. And as I delved deeper, a concept began to crystallize, a concept that resonated powerfully with what I was observing in my patients with prostate issues. It was like a light bulb turning on, illuminating a connection I had sensed but couldn't articulate. This ancient perspective offered a framework for understanding why certain modern habits were so detrimental, not just to the prostate, but to overall vitality. It talked about the body's innate intelligence and how our lifestyle choices can either support or disrupt that intelligence. It wasn't about specific herbal remedies or exotic practices, but about fundamental principles of how to live in harmony with our own nature. And one principle stood out with glaring clarity in relation to the prostate: the devastating impact of prolonged internal and external stagnation. Frozen core. So, what is this one habit? It's not just about what you're eating, or even if you're exercising sporadically. It's something more subtle, yet more constant. I call it the chronic internal freeze. And its most common physical manifestation, the one that acts as a relentless trigger for prostate enlargement, is prolonged, uninterrupted sitting combined with a state of sustained, low-grade internal tension. Pause for impact. Think about it. How many hours a day are many seniors, and indeed people of all ages, truly, deeply still in their chairs? Driving, working at a desk if they're still working, watching television, reading, even socializing. But it's not just the physical stillness, it's the quality of that stillness. It's often coupled with a mental state of distraction, worry, or passive consumption, which creates a subtle internal bracing, a lack of true somatic relaxation. From a Western medical perspective, prolonged sitting is already known to be detrimental. It reduces blood flow, especially to the pelvic region. It encourages a kind of metabolic slowdown. The lymphatic system, which relies on movement to clear waste, becomes sluggish. This creates a perfect storm for inflammation and cellular dysfunction in the prostate, an organ situated right in the center of that pelvic bowl. But the Shi Heng Yi wisdom takes it deeper. It sees this prolonged sitting not just as lack of movement, but as a profound blockage of energy flow. The pelvic area, the energetic root of our vitality for many traditions, becomes a stagnant swamp. This frozen core isn't just about muscle inactivity, it's about life force failing to circulate, nourish, and cleanse. The prostate, in this environment, is essentially under siege, deprived of fresh circulation and detoxification, and bathed in inflammatory signals. This internal freeze, this chronic tension held in a sedentary body, day after day, year after year, it's like slowly tightening a vice around this vital gland. We're not designed for this. Our ancestors were in constant varied motion. Even in stillness, their bodies were likely more relaxed, more connected to the earth. We've created a world that encourages this freeze, and our prostates are paying a heavy price. This isn't about blaming anyone. It's about recognizing a profound mismatch between our biology and our modern environment and habits. Vitality drain. The consequences of this frozen core, this habit of prolonged, tense stillness, extend far beyond just the physical symptoms of an enlarged prostate. It's a slow drain on your overall vitality, your zest for life. When your energy is stagnant, when your body is chronically constricted, even subtly, it impacts your mood, your mental clarity, your emotional resilience. Think about how you feel after hours of sitting. A bit sluggish, maybe a little stiff, perhaps a little foggy. Now imagine that being your baseline state, day in and day out, for years. It contributes to that feeling of premature aging, that sense that your body is failing you, that you can't do the things you used to enjoy. The constant need to urinate, especially at night, fragments your sleep. And we know that poor sleep is devastating for health, accelerating aging, weakening the immune system, and impairing cognitive function. This isn't just an inconvenience, it's a fundamental disruption to your body's ability to repair and regenerate. The anxiety around prostate health itself, the fear of cancer, the potential for more invasive treatments down the line. This creates a chronic stress response, which further tightens that internal freeze, creating a vicious cycle. It steals your peace of mind. It can make you withdraw, avoid social situations, or feel less confident. It's a subtle erosion of the quality of your life, chipping away at your independence and joy. And all too often, we attribute these feelings simply to getting older, without realizing that a significant portion of it can be traced back to this pervasive, overlooked habit and its profound physiological and energetic consequences. It's a silent thief, stealing not just your physical comfort, but your very life force. Conscious thought. So, what do we do? If this frozen core is the problem, then the solution, logically, is a conscious thought. And this is where the real journey begins, because it's about more than just setting a timer to stand up every hour, though that's a good starting point. It's about cultivating a new relationship with your body, a new awareness of its needs, its signals. It's about consciously interrupting that pattern of prolonged, tense stillness. The Shi Heng Yi wisdom would say it's about restoring flow. This means incorporating more gentle, consistent movement throughout your day. Not necessarily intense workouts, but simple things like walking, stretching, Tai Chi, or Qigong. These practices are specifically designed to promote energy circulation and release stagnation. But it's also about the quality of your stillness. When you are sitting, can you learn to sit with a relaxed, open posture? Can you practice mindful breathing to release that internal tension, that unconscious bracing in your pelvic floor and abdomen? This is about bringing conscious awareness to your physical state. It's about noticing the subtle cues your body is giving you before discomfort sets in. It means making movement non-negotiable, as important as eating or sleeping. It might mean redesigning your environment to encourage more standing or movement. Perhaps it's about embracing active hobbies. But fundamentally, it's an inner shift. It's recognizing that your body is not a machine to be ignored until it breaks down, but a living, breathing, energetic system that requires constant, mindful tending. This conscious thought is not a quick fix. It's a lifelong practice of embodiment, of listening to your body's wisdom, of choosing movement over stagnation, relaxation over tension, flow over freeze. It's about reclaiming your physical agency, not just to help your prostate, but to infuse your entire life with more energy, more freedom, and more joy. This is where true healing and prevention lie, not in a pill, but in a profound repatterning of how you inhabit your own body. Final truth. We've covered a lot, and I know this might be a different perspective than you're used to. But if there's one thing I want you to take away from our time together today, it's this. Your body has an incredible, innate capacity for healing and balance. The issues we face with prostate health, while common, are not an inevitable condemnation. They are often a sign, a desperate message from your body that something in your way of life, something as seemingly innocuous as how you sit and how you hold tension, is creating a profound imbalance. The chronic internal freeze, fueled by prolonged, tense sitting, isn't just a minor bad habit. It is a fundamental betrayal of your body's need for flow, for movement, for energetic vitality. And the wisdom of traditions like Shi Heng Yi doesn't contradict modern medicine. It deepens it, reminds us that we are more than just a collection of organs. We are beings of energy and consciousness. The most powerful medicine you have access to is the conscious choice to honor your body's design, to choose movement, to choose release, to choose flow. Don't wait for the symptoms to become unbearable. Don't resign yourself to a diminished quality of life. The power to shift this narrative, to protect your health, to reclaim your vitality, lies within you right now. This isn't just about your prostate. It's about your entire well-being, your longevity, the richness of your remaining years. The final insight I promised you is this. The greatest healer is the life force within you, and the greatest act of self-love is to remove the obstacles you unknowingly place in its path. That habit, that internal freeze, is one of the biggest. Address it consciously, consistently, urgently. Your future self will thank you more profoundly than words can ever express. Don't let this moment, this awareness, just fade away. Let it be the spark that ignites a true transformation. Please take this to heart.